You ever buy something and then once you do it, you kind of wonder what the heck was I doing that for? Kind of where I am on this snowmobile. I live in southern Indiana and snow is not very prevalent around here. We don't really even have a real reason to have just a normal sled, let alone a snowmobile. So what we have here is, I believe, a 79 Kawasaki Drifter FA. Now I have absolutely no idea anything, not even the first clue how to work on a snowmobile, but my wife and I, we actually bought this thing for a project we were gonna do. We were gonna put a mobility scooter on it, under it, and kind of cruise it around at a car show, because mobility scooters are like the new thing. Everybody's putting different things on them, and it's just kind of fun, and we thought that'd be pretty cool seeing that thing running around a car show. But when we went up and answered the ad on this, it was $300, and we got there to pick it up and the guy said, it runs. Lo and behold, I had to hear it run, and then a couple weeks back we actually had a little bit of snow and we got this thing out and it kind of rips. The only thing that stinks on it is this thing will not run without the choke wide open on it. So today I'm gonna try to get that thing to where that'll work with the choke off, and it'll probably have even more power. And we're supposed to be getting some snow in the next 2 days, so what better time than now? All right, get underneath the bonnet. I guess that's what you call this or something, I don't know. Wouldn't think you'd call it a hood, because it's a snowmobile. So at first glance the other day when we were all kind of tinkering around with it while we were driving it, this boot right here actually has some weather cracking in it, and I don't know if you can see it right there, but there's actually a hole in there, so we were kind of thinking maybe it was getting some unmetered air in behind the carburetor there, messing things up, but we actually put a little tape over there and it actually made it a little worse. I don't know, I hate to get too deep into this thing and try to tear the carburetor apart and not have anything or any way to put it back together. Today we're just going to kind of disassemble on this thing a little bit and see what we can find.
Squirrel!
Old tools. But yeah, I'm going to get this air box off of here, see what's behind here, and just see if we can't play around with this carburetor a little bit and maybe get it cleaned up. Cross your fingers, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, that was not supposed to happen. The fuel line's pretty hard, so looks like we'll be replacing on that unit. Yeah, that stuff's just super brittle. That's kind of why I didn't want to start messing with this thing, but here we are, messing with it. Everything seems pretty clean down in this thing. I don't know how far I want to go into this thing, because if I rip a gasket on this thing or something, I'm not going to be able to get anything in time to get this thing. I just want to get this bowl off of here, see if we got a bunch of nasty old fuel up in this thing or something. Because it runs really good, so it can't be too much wrong with this carburetor. After that we'll check plugs. Probably should have checked plugs to begin with, but we didn't, so here we are. Well, looks like, I know this is 2-cycle gas, but that still seems like a bunch of crud down in the bottom of that thing. So get that thing cleaned up real quick. Well, it's not perfect, but that's about as good as I can get it tonight with what I've got. So I think all that other stuff down in there is just kind of some residue. I hit it with a little tube brush and everything. It's hard to get down in there though. So hopefully that'll help it. Definitely won't hurt it none. So get that blown out and then we'll start assembling this thing, I guess. Also, I was doing a little bit more looking inside that gasket that kind of holds the carburetor to the intake. I think we're going to be okay because it's actually got a piece that goes inside of that, so it's actually still getting sealed. It's just cracked on the exterior portion. I still don't think that that's probably the best way to have it, but for now, without us having any other way to seal that unit up at the time, we're just going to have to let it ride for now. And I'm sure you can go a lot deeper into these carburetors and everything else cleaning them, but with my limited knowledge, I hate to get too deep into it and really screw something up. Hopefully just a good bowl cleaning for maybe this thing sitting a while. Hopefully that'll help it out a little bit. Alright, before we go in for the night, I'm going to pop these two plugs out of here. Just see what they're looking like. I know two strokes are notorious for fouling out plugs, so I'm going to pop those out if they look really cruddy. Maybe try to source some of those tomorrow. They don't look too terrible. I'll probably go ahead and grab two new plugs. I don't think it would hurt anything at all, so get the number off these. And we'll try to snag some of those. And we need to get some fuel line tomorrow before we get too carried away. Alright, we're back out here. I did get us a new gas line for the sled. I just went with some rubber here instead of the old clear stuff, but I think it'll be fine. I'm sure all of it needs replaced. I'm sure it's all brittle, and it looks like there could even be some kind of filter element in there, but that's what we did for now. So I didn't luck out on finding any of our plugs here. I'm just going to take these things over to the wire wheel over there and let them ride the lightning, clean them up, and we're going to have to call that good enough. Went ahead and checked the plug gap too because it looked really close. And it was about 10 thousandths. Looked at the owner's manual, it said closer to 35, so I don't know if that'll make a huge difference, but definitely can't hurt our situation any. The plugs, like I was saying, didn't look awful in this thing, so I'm not even sure that's going to be that much of an issue, but we'll take anything we can get right now. Old plug socket is not cooperating very much. And of course I didn't get a boot or anything, and it still has that crack in it. I'm going to try to mix up a little bit of just JB Weld for now, just to seal that thing off. And then hopefully later on, if we decide to keep this thing or whatever we're going to do with it, we can actually find a replacement part. Alright, so I slathered on some clear RTV silicone, so I'm going to fire the heater back on. Hopefully give that a little bit to dry, cure up, and then we need to put the air intake back on this thing. Then we can see if it'll pop off and see what we got. Also, the plan is slowly coming together. We're actually getting a little bit of snow like they said we were going to. Hopefully we get a lot more than what's out there though. It's not very much, but we'll get her out nonetheless. Try to get this air box back on, or intake silencer as they call it in the book. I don't know. I didn't see an air filter in this thing. Let me know in the comments if you know. Is it supposed to have one? Do snowmobiles not use air filters? Like I said, I'm completely new to all this. I don't plan on, you know, going forward in my snowmobile career, so let me know what the heck is going on there. Do I need an air filter? Do I not? I don't have any idea. Let's get back to it. I probably should have just left well enough alone and let this thing run the way it did, because knowing me, I've probably done something to this now where it's not even going to run at all. There's always that possibility. But on that rare chance, we might have actually made it better. Looks like our silicone is holding up. It's still kind of tacky though, so I don't know. Do we try to fire it now? Let's see if it's going to run, or let it set up overnight. I don't know. But you'll know in about 5 seconds probably. Alright, so it is going to be the moment of truth. We got a decent amount of snow out there today. Nothing too wild, but I kept that space heater on it overnight. It seems like our silicone is dried up pretty good. So nothing left to it but to do it. I guess we'll try to get this thing primed back up. I know we're going to have to fill that float bowl up, so start pulling my guts out and try to get this thing going. Oh, also, a cool thing that I did find out about these snowmobiles, on this one here, it does have the option to do an electric start. That's how you see your key actually has that, but the provision for the starter itself is blocked off, so maybe if we end up keeping this thing, that's something we look into. That way we're not fooling this thing so much. Here we go. We're getting some fuel up to the carburetor, so that's good. Oh yeah. Smoky smokes. I could have that fuel mixture a little wrong. I think we did 40 to 1 when we put some more in it. I think that's what the book calls for, so I don't know. Let me try to get this thing fired back up real quick. I'm going to try to adjust on that idle speed too real quick. See if I can't get that dialed in. Maybe that's why it's not wanting to idle. We'll try her out. Alright, I still can't get it to come off the choke, but and it's smoking a lot, so I think we got way too much oil in the mix. But it is what it is at this point. We're gonna rip it regardless. Maybe. god.
Was that fun, Dolly?
What do you think, baby? Alright, I guess we're gonna do a little sledding behind the sled. Sorry, Dad.
How was that?
Oh, no. Yeah, that was good, I'm sure. Well, we've had better ideas. Well, that's pretty much gonna wrap this one up. That sled is really fun. I don't know what to do with it though. I mean, like I was saying, in Southern Indiana, we don't get a lot of snow, so it's a hard thing to keep for 2 times a year, but definitely worth it right now. But yeah, I'm gonna go try to warm up a little bit. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Well, let me know down in the comments what I should do with this thing, or if you got any cool ideas what we could do with it. Let me know, and thanks as always for watching. We'll see you on the next one.